Streaming now, and because I'm on YouTube for a change, I can play music that's not so annoying. Let's try to go because again on Twitch they stick me with basically playing music that they can't recognize. They say it's all copyrighted material, but it's just like music they can't recognize. So we're just gonna go ahead and start playing music that's a little bit less generic. And essentially, our stream tonight is, like I said in the description, we are going through and taking care of a few last colliders that are preventing the cats from getting up to two staircases. And after that, we're doing a beginning a final sweep of just we took care of all the bad colliders that were associated with buildings, and now we just want to go one last sweep and make sure there are no redundant and bad colliders on things like fences, things like walls, etc. And I'm going to be doing this for an hour, as I usually do. And for some reason, it's always bringing up this browser that's about the Walgreens pharmacy that I'm going to. So I'm just going to bring up, because this way at least I know that I can bring up the window, that I can see whether we actually have anybody tuning in or is asking questions. So, and why don't I advertise these more? Tried advertising before, it didn't really help. These streams, again, I mean, I like interfacing with the fans of the project and everything. Interfacing, talking, meeting, etc., etc. But for now, I really doing this again usually comes in about after 6 or 7 hours of work, and my interest is flagging a bit, and just having you guys here, paying attention to what I'm doing, keeps me a little bit honest. So let's see here. We had some sort of issue here, like there were dumb stairs or something. I think I'd be willing to bet it's because there are redundant colliders on there. But really, first we're going to test the library thing that we just did. And oh, we have a viewer. Hello. To our unnamed viewer, if you have any questions or comments, this is please ask or do, because that's what I'm here for. Like talking. While we get things settled. And by the way, I do play copyrighted music over on our Twitch stream, but I run it through, Paul Stretch, so it doesn't recognize it. And it's very easy to get around those things, but I find it annoying. So, yes, we were teching this bait. Gonna apply all overrides. This is the third time that I've applied these overrides. I just want to make absolutely sure. Let's see here. Go into there. Unbaked. Excellent. Go back to there. And apply the overrides to there. And now we get to go into the main scene and just test that staircase out. I'd be willing to bet it's going to do pretty good. So, then we actually caught a little bit of a hitch on this because I thought we were ready to stick the balance beams on top of fences and such, but there's this issue with the root animation method that we're using, and Lance is in the well, he's going to fix it eventually. He hasn't got it 100% fixed. The thing is Lance is just excellent. He's one of those guys that always does find a solution. He's like, Commander Chaos. Commander has always optimal solution. So let's drag our little kitty thing into there. Our test spawn location, we want to make sure. Oh, actually, that's precisely where we want it. So you just run it. And this evening, I mean nice soft mozzarella cheese. So no crunching. So filling. A little bit of balsamic, a little bit of sea salt on top. Hey, well, I mean, while we're waiting to start running, I mean, really, who here else is like an Anthony Bourdain fan? Um, he's a guy. I mean, really, I started watching him when he was on like the Travel Channel, like No Reservations. I was a big fan of his. I mean, he's a guy who taught me because at the time when I first started watching him, I was literally eating out of cans and such. And he just, I don't know, just by sublimation of his coolness, I just say, I really need to learn how to cook because everybody really should be able to make a salad, be able to cook for themselves, make a few dishes so they don't have to rely, live on crappy pre-made foods, etc., etc. I'm gonna go back to. I'm gonna put on, one of these like just dark ambient albums that I have because they last about close to an hour. Um, all right, boop, 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 boop. Kitty with his butt up on there. Okay, so let's see here. That looks good. Good on the way down. Good on the way down. Let's see how it operates on the way up. If she gets stuck on that top stair, I'm going to be just a very angry panda. Ah! Angry panda time. All right, let's see. Hold on. I made that last step inside of this. Hold on. I think I know the problem. Yeah. Aha! I know the problem. You can see it right there, almost. That last step, you really have to approach it on the outside before the cat can just like totally get over that. And as long as there's one solid way up, I'm willing to forgive getting caught on other places. That's just, refinement. All right, so I'm going to mark that part done. And what we have to do now, this is a community garden, by the way, right behind here. We just started putting like stuff in. I need to roughen up those wood. That wood, it's like burled oak almost. Let's see here. So I wanted to test again because there's a problem with this one staircase over here. And I believe it has to do with the redundancy, but I just want to make absolutely sewer again. And the only way to do that is really to run through it. Just see it and run over it with the cat. Is this mom watching? I know my mom watches cat. I mean, she knows I have a YouTube channel. That's cool. Hi, Mom, if that's Mom. How are things down in Kentucky? I hear you have a lot of caves down there. Boy. I have not been to Kentucky in so many years. I think I haven't been since, like, geez, the 90s. So much has changed down south. Downtown Nashville's changed so much. Hmm. Some for the better, some for the worse. I mean, Tennessee did not need, nor could it afford an NFL team. I really, really thought. I mean, dude, I don't live there, but I lived there for 13 years, so I have a little bit of place to criticize. So don't consider me some like Northern Yankee telling us what to do. But seriously, you guys did not need the Tennessee Titans. You just didn't. It was stupid, and I remember distinctly the Tennessee legislature was cutting education to the bone because they said, "Oh, we ain't got no money for that." But as soon as they found out, "Oh, we can get a we can get a football team up here," oh my goodness, they found the money. They found the money, and it was just so sad that I mean, but that's the way it is down south. People just do care a little bit. Misplaced priorities. That's what I have to say. But then again, everybody has misplaced priorities. I can't say that the South is unique for having misplaced. Yeah, this is an unworkable staircase, as you can see. We still have to get that fixed. All right. And you know what? I'm just going to do a quick and simple ramp for that one. Hmm. Also, a little bit too hot down there. I mean, like I said, I lived there for 13 years. Didn't like it all that much. I mean, there were some cool things to it, but really, again, I mean, It's kind of hard to say. I just never felt that that was my place in down south in Tennessee, and environs. And there's no strike against the place because everybody, some police, everybody finds their place. I was recently listening to, I listened to the BBC. I have to go back to my stair scene to get that. Yeah, about this guy. He was born, I believe. Oh, gosh, yeah, one of those countries down like Benin and Sierra Leone and such. But this guy, he was born and raised in Africa. And here's the thing: his um, tribe there, they believed in an indigenous religion that was all about snakes. And his big problem, this guy, I forget his name. I should look it up really quick. The Arctic African. I'll look that up. Arctic African. Yeah. Tete Mikhail Kababasi. I can't speak his language, but yeah, this guy. But he grew up in one of these, equatorial African, sub-Saharan countries, and because his tribe believed in this indigenous religion that was centered around snakes, he had a problem because he had no problem with the religion, but he had a problem. He was scared of snakes. He just had an innate fear of snakes. And what happened one day was, there were Christian missionaries, and they had a bookstore there, a little library and such. And he went in there, and they had a book about the Inuit, particularly Inuit and in Greenland. And he had never seen anything like that because, I mean, again, he grew up in the tropics and such. And he said the most amazing thing about this place was there was no snakes. There were no snakes. So literally, this guy, at a very young age, he abandoned his tribe and spent, I mean, over a decade, first trekking, from his home country in Africa to a port where he could get to Europe. And then he spent more years trying to get to Greenland. And the thing is, uh, that was where that guy belonged. I mean, yeah, he was born in, sub-Saharan Africa, but I mean, that was where he belonged. You read his life story and you learn more about him, but that was where he was meant to be. It's like really crazy when you hear a story. It's like when he got off the ferry for the first time, he got off in, I forget the name of the town, and I mispronounced the name of the town because they use very indigenous names up there that I butchered the language. In fact, that shouldn't, not, I could probably grab that just by itself. There we go. I'm going to pull that sucker right out. Pull the whole steps out. Because before that worked, but I think what we have a problem with here. Hold on. Oh, did somebody chat? Hello, Hispano. Buenas noches. It's noches here. I don't know how it is where you are. Yeah. Doing that final collider, external collider review, and we had these two troublesome staircases, and I think really the best way to address this, because I think, no, those are unbaked. Ooh. Are there residual colliders somewhere? That's the thing. You never know when somebody's going to bite you in the butt. No, I think I could just use a ramp here. Because that was just not working there. So what we do is go back to there. But Espanol, yeah, I was talking about the Arctic African, but yeah, it's a fascinating story because when he got off the ferry at one of the southernmost quote-unquote city in Greenland, I think it has like about 5,000 residents now. But back then it probably had about 500. But I mean, the people there had never seen a black person before, and they called it. I mean, he later found out that they called him the Black Knife from the mountain Is what they said when they were like, "Oh my God, the Black Knight from the mountain." But here's the thing. I mean, he was because that's where he belonged. He eventually went native. I mean, in the most literal sense, and he lived up there for decades. And I mean, if you learn about Inuit, um, views toward fidelity and marriage and childbearing, there are still his descendants up there in Greenland still today. That's just a really cool story. I mean, the guy, I mean, literally just said, "I'm going to try to do the most difficult thing that a human could do, and go to the most difficult place in the world," and he made it, and he made it work for him, and I think that's awesome. But just Google Arctic African, and you'll learn you'll get his full name, and they recently did an episode of BBC A Witness about him, and it has an interview of him. I think he lives in Paris right now. Yeah, he doesn't live up there anymore. He's elderly now, and maybe after whatever, at a certain point, he's like, "Man, I've had it all. Time to go to Europe and sell a lot of paper, books." Okay, let's just make sure that we. Okay, you see, this is where we cause problems here. I got to make sure that these colliders here are 100% right, and I cannot do that as long as I'm going to have to add a renderer to these. Oh, I can't. Because here's the thing, I have to match this edge right here with the one up there, and it's really tricky. But maybe, I've done this thousands of times in the past, so I know I can do it again. I don't know whether he ever went back to his family in Africa, that guy, by the way. I think he just, that's just not my place. And, I could imagine myself visiting the South again to visit my relations again. I would really like to. But I could never see myself living down there. Because, again, Maine, there's a certain, for many, many years, I thought I was, autistic or something. Because I really didn't understand when most people communicated. Again, maybe I've already talked about this, but when I moved up here, it's like, yes, I get these people, the way they talk, et cetera, et cetera. And I mean, yeah, I had to slow down a bit to get the vibe, but I didn't mind that, because again, at a certain point, when you come to some place and you realize, yeah, this is a place maybe I was always meant to be. People down south, they have a problem with it because I mean, my mother will never, ever, ever give up on the idea of me moving down to Kentucky or anywhere south of the Mason-Dixon line. But no, nope, 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 nope. Sorry, just can't see that ever happening. And it isn't because I have any really intense dislike for the place. It's just I prefer to live up here. I mean, it's not like I was in some sort of weird snake handling religion down south. That would have made actually life down there a little bit more interesting, I think. Okay, let's give this a try. I know I didn't get 100% correct, but let's give it a try. Sometimes one is lucky. And we open up the see that. Oh, IKEA just arrived. We don't have IKEAs up here. We could order, but we don't. The nearest one is in Boston. I mean, that's about 120 miles to the south here. Um, I don't think I ever bought much from IKEA. Yeah, I mean, if you do want to, I mean, it's no judgment on their culture, but I mean, let me tell you, the Inuit, they get it on. That's all I'm going to say. They get it on now. But I mean, it's their culture, and that's totally cool. Um, anyway, let me see. Just do those overrides. Yeah, and I've been watching like videos about Greenland and Arctic lately. I probably mentioned that a dozen times. Okay, we're gonna do a quick test, but it looks like actually I'm gonna have to go back in because you see, it doesn't cover the entire staircase. I'm gonna have to go back over and fix that really quick again. And I forget. I'm gonna have to find it again. I'm very sorry, guys. I didn't remember exactly where it was, but it's probably. Oh no, it's one of the steps, whole steps. Ah, dang it. Okay, yeah. Uh, I mean, sometimes, I mean, geez. When I think if I had a chance to retire to somewhere, sometimes I'm thinking, man, Botswana is really cool because I really dig their heavy metal scene down there. But I can't imagine this old white guy just showing up in Botswana one day, just like, showing up. I mean, if you've not seen Botswana heavy metal, like, they are the bosses. I mean, they are metal down there. I mean, they're crazy metal. They got, I mean, as the kids say today, they got the drip. Boy, they got the drip going on. You know, this is not going to work. I'm going to have to make a customized staircase for this. And sometimes that happens. That's totally cool. So what we're going to do here is open the prefab, ditch this entirely, and yeah, this is what we have to do sometimes because it is what it is. Hmm. Oh, we got 4 viewers. Howdy, howdy, everybody. You're about to watch me just do something incredibly tedious. Boy, can I sell this channel or what? All right, what we're gonna do here is what we need to do is because the cats are not getting up the staircase as well as we'd like. What we want to do is we want to create a custom, just geometrical staircase because this is a regular and a regular sort of just incline isn't going to work because the way things are. So what we're going to do is going to export this to FBX and yeah, call this AppStair1. And now we're going over to Blender. And let me see. I should rather, yeah. That was the last custom staircase I made. So import. Yeah, there we go. So what we want to do here, you see, the problem is you see the stairs, they bend ever so slightly, and that throws things off. So what we're going to do here is just do some, you know, let's see, add. We're going to build a ramp that closely fits this shape that the cats can easily get up. It's going to be invisible, but we're going to use the collider. So let's see, add. What I usually do is just plain. Yeah. I still haven't wrapped my mind around Blender that much, but you know, I've gotten to the point that I actually can, you know, edit geometry. I mean, Blender is. And what's kind of crazy is you look around Greenland right now, and I mean, jeez. Well, it's still pretty. I mean, they only got I think 56,000 people in the entire place. And I mean, if you look at Greenland on the map, it's Titanic. You know, the big joke about it's bigger than 5 times. It's 5 times bigger than Europe. Actually, if you look, you know, if you go to this site called the True Size of, Greenland is actually basically the exact same size as Mexico. But I mean, Mexico I think has 100+ million people in it. And, you know, again, Greenland is about 56,000. Boy, they know they are sitting on some really good riches up there. But here's the thing, is that I mean, they are not letting big companies come in and grab everything, which is really cool. Remote. So many people go, business in Greenland. Business in Greenland. Mine are uranium. Nope. I think the government, because in fact, there's this one mountain in Greenland, and I believe this is why. I mean, not that I'm going to give Donald Trump like any credit for any intelligence he might possess, but at one time, Donald Trump said we could exchange Puerto Rico for Greenland. That I believe is because his advisors told him, and he just stopped eating chicken long enough to understand that essentially, one of the biggest problems in the world today is that there is only a few sources of what we call rare earths. And rare earths are the things that we need to make semiconductors work, like the ones in your cell phone and your computer. Now, several million years ago, a meteor landed in the territory on Earth that would eventually become the People's Republic of China that had tons. Oh, I'm sorry. What the heck happened? Layout? Can I go back to my layout? Okay, good. That just basically had tons and tons of what we now call rare earths in it. And so really China has almost a virtual monopoly on rare earths. There may have been other sources found in recent years, hopefully. But from what I understand, there is one mountain in Greenland that like is a remnant of a meteor that hit there many millions of years ago that has more rare earths in it than all of China. And I'm thinking that Donald Trump wiped the grease from his lower lip on the way to the toilet and said, hey, see if we can exchange Puerto Rico for that. That's that I think that's the origin of his desire to quote unquote buy Greenland, because he was all about can't be with China, too much China. Anyway, the whole trade war crap. Let's get off of politics. Blur. Yeah, I mean, there's a guy in Greenland, a YouTuber or something, Olson. I've been watching some of his videos. Like one of their vacation spots they go to there, one of the places they go to in the southern part. It has a hotel there, but it also has the remnants of an old, like, uranium mine. And out front of this thing are these gigantic piles of the leavings from that uranium mine. And those things are all rare earths. This stuff that, I mean, my goodness, that's millions upon millions of dollars worth of rare earths sitting in those piles. But Greenland says, no, we are a government mainly made up of indigenous people, and so we actually value this land, and we don't like people coming up here and just raping it to death for whatever money they can get out of it. So basically, I mean, maybe China's sending hundreds of thousands of tourists up there just to grab it like pocketful by pocketful. I don't know. Don't know whether I'd like to visit Greenland. Greenland looks pretty cool, though. I mean, I thought they didn't allow pets up there, but apparently dogs and cats are like, common as pets south of a certain latitude. That's a place I could retire to, maybe. Start the first game studio in Greenland, not Iceland, Greenland. Sorry. Okay, I think we're done with this. So now what we want to do is, before I had this problem where the normals are always like in the opposite direction, and that really annoys me, but I think we may be good here. Let's just get rid of these old items, because this is what we want to bring over. That's perfectly fitted to fit that staircase, and I know the cats can get right up and over it. So what we're going to do now is actually, here, just for safety's sake, could go back into edit mode and extend this lower lip just a bit to make sure there's no... Ooh, that's an annoying sound. Let's see. Edit mode. Grab that edge. Yep. I don't think I'd ever want to go to live or even really visit Longyear Ben up in like where is it, Spitsbergen? I forget what it's also called. Anyway, because it just seems to be, oh goodness, heck, just not my kind of place. Number one, no cats. So let's see here. What we're gonna have to do is I'm gonna make a test because I want to make absolutely sure that that everything is facing the right or proper direction because I wasted. So I'm gonna export it once, make sure that these normals are facing the proper direction, and then come back over here. So we got to do a couple of exports. So we're gonna call this apt stair 2. Okay. I love playing for 15 minutes straight of the game. Oh, dude. Yeah, James. If you're still here, I'm sorry I haven't been paying attention to the stream, to the chats, because this staircase is the last one. The last one. Mm. What I will do is, in about in about 2 weeks, I think we're going to be done with this final exterior review. I think I posted on our Patreon 2 days ago that we are going to be done with this big external review in about 2 weeks. At that time, Lance will have gotten the balance, worked out and all that other stuff. And yeah, definitely, and the stat system and a few other things worked out. And yes, I would really love to do something like that. And I have done streams where I have literally gone through all of the years of development that this thing has gone, the project's gone through. Let me see. I have to go back to our stuff to make sure I put the prefab in the right place. I could do that again, but from experience, I learned that going through every one of the screenshots for the first 2 years of development for this game literally takes 3 hours. So I really can't do that. But I could definitely do. I do want to do a playthrough. I mean, I understand it's kind of like stupid. I mean, people come here every day. It's like Peace Island stream, and I'm literally just sitting here taking care of just all this really just very pedestrian stuff. But yeah, did I not save that in the right place? I may not have saved that in the right place. Let's go back. All right. Oh, it's still in edit mode, so definitely it did not save in the right place. All right. Yeah, I'm sorry that it's been mostly just dev lately, but here's the thing. Well, I'll just. There's no other way to put this. Let me just see. File. Export. There was no way to absolutely verify that this was going to be working properly until I did this entire walkthrough, and I was always for the last couple of months. The game has been under such heavy revision that I mean I've been just I'm like yeah, I could show this off once we get these things done. Once we can get these things done, because I probably talked about this on streams, James, where you have tuned in. I mean, a lot of this stuff, so much of this stuff was put off for 18 months or for about a year because we had these idiots. I let idiots work for us for a while, and the controller, I will say, was probably not close to where it needed to be until about July of last year. And that's absolutely shameful because so much in this game relied upon how the cats moved. But one person after another screwed us over, one person after another. And it was just disgusting. Again, finally, thank goodness, we found a guy in Tijuana, Mexico, of all places, who joined our team, and boy, some of the apartment stairs objects are not showing up in here. I keep on saving them, exporting them to this, and this is very odd. Because I have that object selected. Play, yes. So file. I'm gonna export this to my desktop because it's becoming very frustrating. Because see, there it is. App Stair 2, App Stair 3. Where are they? Okay, great. I guess I was looking at the wrong folder. Sorry. Duh. Sometimes. When you're working. A lot of working pieces. Because I couldn't really tell whether a cat would be able to walk up a staircase until, we had the cat walking and how it will walk up various surfaces. But yeah, that's perfecto. I might be able to get away with just placing this and not doing anything else because the outsides, the edges of the staircase are so embedded in the soil. I think I might be able to get away putting that down. Yeah. And I mean, these days I don't try to go over the history and everything. I mean, I try to get it behind me. I try to get these things behind me, but dang it. Again, I always have to bring this up, man. I just made some very bad hiring choices at one point, and boy, if there's one thing I could go back in my life. I rarely don't have any regrets in life, but man, if there's one thing I could do, go back in time, is like when that one guy called. I just go, nope, bye, no habla inglés. Just ignore him if he ever called back. But the thing is again, it's got to see. As you see, my mood just dipped. I got a little bit somber there, but hey, okay, we're gonna test this. We're gonna let's see, copy that and put it in its appropriate place. Appropriate mesh baker. Here we go. I'm just gonna nail it right there. Put a mesh collider on that baby. Turn off the renderer. Go up here. Apply the overrides. Go. No problem. What'd you get, Espano? What'd you get? New bed? I would like to get a new mattress, let me tell you, or something, because I am having a hard time getting to sleep. But then again, I have 2 floating ribs, so I'm having a hard time getting to sleep no matter what, it seems. Let me just check the edge there, make sure. It looks like we're good. Let's give it a try. I don't think it's right. It may be off by just a bit. And in fact, I can fix that really quick by going, because there is, I can move that collider just down a bit. Sorry. Oh, there it is. Yep. There we go. That should get us right now. Apply the overrides yet again. And then we can test. And I know what's next on the soundtrack if the cat can get up there. In fact, I should line it up on my thing over here. Let's see. Okay, we're good. Get out of this and apply the overrides again, because I always do that redundantly. I know it's annoying, but I got to do it each time. I'm OCD, and I want to make absolutely sure that the commitments, because it really sucks to go in there and make sure that, because you didn't apply the overrides or bake it properly, and it's so annoying to realize that. So okay, alrighty. I'll say, so we're going to go into our testing again. And I believe the cat is already still sitting right in front of that staircase, or very close, so we can just zip right up. And I notice there's a slight gap between the pavement and the curbstones. The pavement, that's its own issue. Um, Probably we'll take a look at that. Maybe once we get, all the mechanics working, all the systems working properly. Because right now, if cats can move over it, I'm fine. I mean, aesthetics have always been incredibly important to the game, but really, I'm just number one happy if the cat can move up things and get over any obstacle. Because before, I mean, again, it was a revelation to see how many redundant and badly placed colliders were in this. When I during all these reviews, Sorry, I tried to bring up my other window there. The furniture, yeah, the furniture, yeah, okay. Yeah, well, like I couldn't name any. I mean, I know Banyo is bathroom, but that's about it. And plus, I have to say this: the South is just a bit too conservative for me. I mean, that's again no strike against conservative people or people that might be far further to the right than me. I can disagree with somebody and get along with them, but they have an attitude about government down there that just to me is just it just strikes me as absolutely insane. Where it's like, wait, what government's so small, et cetera, et cetera. But then again, oh yeah, we can't, we're going to get all in your face about like all these other issues. Okay, hold on, hold on. We're almost there, almost there. Come on, 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 good girl, come on, come on. Ah! Damn it! Okay, I'm gonna have to take that collider down just a millimeter, because if you look there, you can't probably can't see it, but there's a millimeter there that other collider can go down. Oh, so close. Let's see. We're 42 minutes in. We're gonna get this working. That'll be the last thing that we do. And by the way, all these white things over the buildings are because the colliders are still visible. I wanted Laura to be. They have to be visible in order for accurate placement of the ivy that the cats can climb up. So we're gonna have to go back to Eric's stair, my workbench. That was frustrating. She got so close up there. Mm. Maybe I should turn on the collider on that again. Just, I mean, the renderer on that just to make sure. Like, yeah, what is it? Government. Government's like purpose is to enforce morality and to make sure that people aren't enjoying themselves or et cetera, et cetera. It seems that's what the Southern approach toward law enforcement seems to be. But that's just me. And yeah, I mean, some people do enjoy that law and order. We believe in law and order here. Okay, great, great. But you could take that a little bit too far, IHO. It looks like I did not apply that last movement of the collider there because you can see. Let me just take a look there. Yes, see, you can barely see it. Let me see if I can zoom in. But you see this little green corner here. This little thing that is the source of our butt pain. We just have to move this collider back just a bit and we'll be good. So, gotta dial through and find that object again. Let's see. Okay. By the way, they're not. Okay, no redundancy is good. Okay. Oh, Oh, and because the way he has this box collider set up, Arjuna, you did everything the absolute worst way you can. So no, not everything, but a lot of things. It's just insanity. Why would you even set it up that way, Arjuna? Okay, so we want to get it so that that little bit here is back. So position. Yeah. Okay. So we want to increase that just ever so incrementally. Let's take that to 2.6. Nope. We actually want to move in the opposite direction. We want to decrease that to 4. Actually, 4, 5. There we go. I think we're good now. But don't hold my don't hold me to that. Okay. Apply all these overrides yet again. We got to go in, apply the overrides, come back out, apply the overrides again. But it's what we got to do. It's just to make sure that everything is 100% correct. Yep. All right. Just go. Hold on. I see something I don't like. Well, no. I think I do see something. I think I see something I like. Hold on. I think we're good. Let's apply those overrides one more time, just for my OCD. Go into my test scene and run it. My, oh my. While that's loading, I'm going to be right back, ladies and gentlemen. You'll have to pardon me. I just have to want to go and take care of something. I'm going to turn down my audio while my outside thing loads. Be right back in about, I don't know, about 60, 90 seconds. By the way, I also want to mention one of the reasons I'm doing these dev streams. Because somebody posted a comment on one of my videos up here about Peace Island being vaporware. And really, I just wanted to, refute that by going, look, it's here, it's being worked on. So, it does exist, thank you. So, and yeah, maybe the guy was trolling, don't feed the troll, but I don't know, it's a sensitive spot for me. Oh, let's go. Come on, kitty, come on. Let's go. Yes! Yes, ladies and gentlemen, okay, we can play our victory noise here. Okay, hold on. Wrong window again, Eric. Dang it. We're going to play our let's see, we're going to turn off all my music. Yeah. Taking so long to play my stupid victory song. But anyway, here it is. Oh. There we go. And now it's frozen. That's what I get. It's like a victory song and the game being frozen. Okay, no. Yay. Yeah, okay, great. So that was the last staircase. Great. Fantastic. That took only about a month, about 3 weeks to get all settled. Enviro Sky is still causing us issues. The clouds never move. Alrighty. Enough of that. Okay. Alright, where are we on time? Because let's see here. With oh yeah, it shows me on my YouTube window. Jeez, I am just so sorry. Alright, you're doing for oh no, I'm doing for me, but let me tell you, I would really like to show people, I mean, how far the game has come. But again, well, again, in 2 weeks, once we get the exterior to the point that, I know that the cats can literally climb any telephone pole, bounce on any surface, climb up every staircase, and there aren't any stupid damned colliders in the middle of the woods. I'll be happy because, well, as I said many, many times, no one is going to care as much about your project as, you. And apparently, and that extends to people you pay. Because, well, some of the people, they did some of the things very right that we brought onto the project. They did a heck of a lot of stuff very wrong. And it's just kind of stunning, some of this stuff. Like, for example, there's a cabin out in the woods with a porch and everything. Again, guy we brought in to do colliders, and I thought he was paying attention to what he doing. He just stuck like a box collider on it, and it was at a 45-degree angle to the house. So that meant that anybody who approached that house just met an invisible wall. It was just, why? What possessed you to think that was the collider for a building of any kind? Anyway, dang it. I mean, I've come into this new realization over the last 3 years. It should have just remained myself, Laura, Richard, and a third. I mean, somebody to come in and take care of the really heavy coding, because I'm not going to repeat myself. Anyway, let me see, what else can I show you? You said you wanted to know about the game. I mean, I'd have to make a build right now to really show it off, because within the editor, it plays really slow. And I could really only show it off at like low quality, and that's not nice. 2 weeks, or maybe, yeah, 2 weeks from today, we'll just put that down. Let's see. So figure on March 15th, we're going to do just, running around the island and, checking things out, going to a few interiors, knocking things around. At that point, though, I have to admit the dialogue system is still the dialogue UI has not been finalized, and we have not put much content in as far as conversation and such. We've got that in other forms, but we haven't brought it into Artisy, which is the thing that we're using to handle our dialogue. It's the same system that they used for Disco Elysium. It's a really neat program, because there are. I'm gonna go open up my work scene, because at least we can zoom around there and look at things. Most of the writing software for video games and like multi-branching software that allows you to create multi-branching narratives, choose your own adventure sort of games, are mostly made for technical people. They have very little in the way of actual storytelling tools. Because if you're writing multi-branch dialogue, you have to constantly keep so many things in mind and on the same page. And Artisy Draft is, again, a fantastic thing, because it plugs right into Unity. Let me see. Yeah, and again, the Disco Elysium use these guys. Yeah, because this is the only one that I found that actually seems to actually be written with writers in mind and creative writing in mind, rather than the technical end of things. And that is so refreshing, because I mean, there are certain things you need to be able to construct stories and writing, and I was going from one solution to the next, and every one of them was just made for coders. It was not made for people took a creative writing course or knew anything about, you know, storytelling. And but Artisy Draft was. And again, I mean, the people who created Disco Elysium used it. If you're not aware, Disco Elysium was one of the most praised games of recent years. And I like their story because apparently the developers, they were just sitting around one day and they said, hey, you know, we failed at everything. Let's say we also fail at making a video game. And that's how their Gamester project started. And they wound up creating a universally loved and universally like praised game. If you're not familiar with it, Elysium. Yeah, Disco Elysium. On Steam. Yeah, I recommend this game. It's oh god, Laura and I use the same Steam, so whenever ever other people are using it, you have to take it out. But this is like, you know, a top-down isometric, you know, detective story, but it's got what's really cool about it, and I mean, it's a testament to how good Artisy Draft is at these things. And if you've never played Disco Elysium before, what it has is, in addition to a physical inventory of like cash and items, it also has a psychological inventory. You start the game as somebody who has had basically somebody who wakes up in a horrible hangover in their underwear with like barf on their shirt and everything, and you've lost, you know, any memory of who the heck you were, and and what you used to believe in and everything. And so over the course of the game, you literally learn about things like nationalism, bigotry, you know, communism, capitalism, police state, and stuff like that. And you can actually choose how you see the world. And every one of those choices impacts the dialogue choices that you have within that game. And again, Artisy Draft was able to handle that. And that's sort of like detail we really wanted in this game, because as a story-driven game, as Disco Elysium is, I'm sorry, cancel. We really needed something that could handle that and allow us to write it from a writer's perspective, rather than having to somehow, you know, convert it into a format that coders can understand. Artisy Draft does that automatically, and so I mean, not that I'm being paid by them or anything, but they're great. I really enjoy using their software, and we're going to be probably, like I said, probably from mid-March onwards, we're going to be working really hard on finishing up the interiors and working on and just bringing in the story content and fixing the UI. UI, interiors, and content. Those are the three things for the last 2 months, because I still would really like to get the public beta out by mid-May. I really would. Well, just because. This game should have been, we should have had the beta demo together a year ago. But again, made the mistake of hiring a guy by the name of Mike Shiranovsky, but that's the only time I'm going to mention it. I mean, is there anything? We have another only a minute and a half. Tell you what, if next time I'm going to be back here 2 days, we can talk about maybe some story elements or something. Because usually when I'm doing these things, I'm just talking about whatever's going on, you know. So I mean, I could. Hey Wayne, you always tune in just as I'm tuning off. I'm going to stay here for another minute and 4 seconds for Wayne, because and Wayne, I know you are ready to play test the game when we get the exterior review done. Trust me, you're going to be the first person we get in touch with. I'm just hesitant to do it until we get the power lines back in, and that is contingent upon Lance getting, you know, the high wire thing done. And in the interim, geez, what's waiting to be done? You know, I'm just going to bring the power lines freaking in. And I'm going to separate them into, that's what I'm going to do over the next couple of days. And yeah, the walk is not 100%, but the high wire walk is not 100%. But heck, it's about 80%. So The only thing that the cat can't do is it has problems turning around realistically when it's on a balancing surface. Like, for example, when I say, for example, the cat is, let me just zoom in on here. This fence over here, you can see that if the cat is balancing on top of this, it can turn around, but it's just the animation isn't right. It's kind of weird and surreal. So, but you know, I think that's still good enough for people to work on it. And I think we're also going to have to do. Our Lance says we're going to have to rethink how balancing things are done. Because there's two kinds of balancing within the game. There's like a mini game of balancing that's one way, and there's also just balance. It could be just a whole bunch of places in the game where you can just balance anytime you want to, like the top fences and such. But heck, you'll be seeing that in 2 days. Because really, as you saw earlier today, I finished the last of the. Oh no, the Ivy. I forget. How could I forget? Laura is finishing up the Ivy as we speak, and that has to be separated into its constituent, sectors. But that'll be done. She can do that. That'll probably about 2 days. Let's see. Well, thank you. No, here's the thing. I'm proud. Don't get me wrong. I'm totally proud of every bit of work that we did on the game, but I am not proud of again hiring that person. You do not know the damage that that person did, that I allowed that person to do. I mean, geez, I'm past an hour, but again, and I talk about it too much. I really shouldn't, but let's just put it this way. I'm not proud of some of the things that happened over the course of the development of this game. I'm just not proud. And it sucks because I can only just look at myself in the mirror and blame myself because I was in charge of hiring these losers. And let's put it this way. For any, if you, again, those people, they cost us time, but they didn't cost us any money because I covered it all myself, the losses that they incurred on it. And number two, I have handed all hiring decisions over to Laura. She has final decision on these things now. So that sort of thing is never going to happen again. And it happened because, I mean, the only defense I have is because, hey, listen, I've never been a boss before, is because I always expected, I turned down opportunities to be a boss at previous jobs. Because I was like, I'm going to be a horrible manager because I'm either going to be weak, I'm going to be either weak or I'm going to be Hitler. And and in this case, I was so afraid of being Hitler that I just put up with nonsense that I never should have. And that's a long story, but again, I don't like talking about it because I've covered it so many times in the past. Maybe I'll cover it again in a dedicated video here on YouTube, but it's just really hard to explain. And it just put, I mean, we fell victim to a con job, is what it was. And all I could say is that while it didn't cost us, time, money, it cost us time, and I don't feel good about it because ultimately it was my fault. So anyway, guys, the game is still coming out. I mean, here's the thing: is the game is back on track now, and I mean, we have a hotshot coder with us, and we have gotten done. I mean, no joke, we have gotten more accessibility done for Peace Island in the last 2 months than we did in the previous year, without a doubt. I mean, all the roofs are accessible now. You can climb all the hedges. You're going to be able to climb. I mean, all the ivy is either going to be leading to a roof that you can get onto, or it's going to be leading to a window that you can either go into, or it's going to be locked. And we cleaned up so many colliders. And again, I'm really hoping that I can bring in Speed Tree 8 stuff into this version of Unity because it would really improve how the forests look. I mean, there are things that could still look better. But anyway. Oh, okay, hold on. In terms of new stories or non-story mode play, man, there you go. I'd be open to doing a sequel to the game after we get it done, and hopefully it sells lots of copies and people love it enough for a sequel. And I would be open. Somebody asked about adding additional story to the game afterwards. Um, I like I said, I'm open to doing a sequel. I mean, I'm open to sort of doing a near automata thing, where if you complete all three endings to the game, you unlock a server, and you can actually go online and hang around with your other players on an island. Maybe that would I'm open maybe to an open a open world multiplayer thing like that. But uh, as far here's the thing is as far as releasing new content for the story, I'm old fashioned. I remember a day when you went to a video game store and you bought the whole game. There was no gold edition. There was no, online purchases. There was no, DLC. You got the whole game. And maybe a publisher. I guarantee. Maybe we may have to sacrifice some of our, principles. If a publisher that we work with demands it, okay. But the way that we see it, there can't be more than more of a final ending to the story than the one that we currently have, and extending it beyond that and having it take place on the same island, very difficult. I mean, I could see if it gets down to it. I mean, understand, if you don't know Scorn initially, what they were going to do is they wanted enough funds that they could release the first part, and then the second part, and then the third part. If you've not played Scorn, it takes place in 3 acts. That might be something that we might have to resort to. I mean, get release the first part of the game so that we get enough purchasers so that we can really put the development of the second act and third act into overdrive. I'd be open to that sort of model. But really, the 3 act story that we have here, I just really can't think of tacking anything onto it that would take place on this island. Um, oh, true, true. Oh, Wayne. Thanks for calling. Oh God, Wayne. Wayne, you're absolutely correct. You are absolutely correct. And actually, they called it Zork One. I think from the very beginning, they never called it Zork. And and Zork Two. Well, no, the first one was called Zork, but then they came out with Zork Two and Zork Three. But I don't know. I don't think that Zork One was ever intended to be its own thing. Wayne and I are talking about very old games here. I mean, Zork. It's a text-only adventure game from Infocom, that came out in like what in the 80s, maybe the late 70s or early 80s, late 70s. I don't know. Um, but yeah, goodness, and also the thing is, there's only so much you could squeeze out of a tiny play. I mean, I keep on saying yes, this game world is huge, and it is, but this island, I mean, really, it's kind of small. After a certain point, I mean, we pushed as much story as we could into this. I don't, putting more story into it, I don't know where we could put it. Because, I mean, at the end of the game, you either decide whether humans come back, whether they could come back with, modifications, or not at all. And I can't think of a more, I mean, definitive ending than that, you know? But I could completely see another game, like a sequel, because I don't want to give away quests, but let's just say anybody who's watched Doctor Who might have a little inkling of something I'm hinting at. But we could, I mean, we were thinking, my dream, and I'll just put it right out there because people ask. And after that, I really have to call it quiz because it's time to feed kitty cats. Yeah, it's 7. Yeah, I got to feed kitty cats, and you don't want grumbly kitty tummies here. Um, I think that's how it's pronounced. It always fixes it for me. And I've mentioned this many, many times. Uh, if I had a chance, this is where we would set the second game. A place like this. This is a city in Italy, It is an ancient city called a Civita di Bani Regio. And as you can see, it's a city built on this rock in the middle of this gigantic valley. And the thing is the city actually used to be about 60% larger than it is right now because the rock that it's built on over the centuries kept on crumbling away. And to the point that literally for about a couple of centuries, this place it was called the Dying City because it was only occupied by a couple of people and a few dozen cats. And cats are still there today. But we would really like to set it on something like this. This ancient city that that's self-contained up there, up on a mountaintop, that would have all these tunnels and Leonardo da Vinci sort of things in it. And maybe you'd find like an underground sort of like subway through the city that was built like hundreds of years ago that the cats would have to unlock. Neat things like that. And I would really, I mean, if we ever did a sequel, I'd like to do it something like this, a city. But so that we don't have to deal with a big exterior anymore, we just focus on making really nice interiors and tunnels and such, because it would be a different experience. But that's what I would like to do. If we did expand the story of Peace Island, we would like to do a sequel like this. And I mean, it's a this is how old this city is. Let me see if I can find. It has yeah, this is the piazza here. These columns in front of the cathedral here, they are Etruscan. And if you don't know, Etruscan is the civilization that came up and collapsed before the rise of the Roman Empire. That is how old this city is. And now it is basically all Airbnbs, fancy restaurants, and actually the Italian government is spending a lot of money reinforcing the ground underneath the city, so no more of it goes away. And I say bravo because it's just a beautiful thing. But there we go, Chivita Botany Regio, cats. Yeah, see, see, lots and lots of kitty cats there, and these guys have been there for centuries upon centuries. They probably, goodness gracious. And unfortunately, I mean, two or three people live there just to keep the lights on during the winter. But yeah, I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. And the cats could climb up these ivies and just topple. I mean, it's just a perfect place to set a game like this. But anyway, guys, no, no, no. One of the things, one of the things in Peace Island is, I you're going to learn a lot about the history of Peace Island. I don't know whether I would like to do it as a prequel. I kind of like the idea of people learning, in the modern world. One of the things I'm unfortunately discovering is watching a lot of these travel documentaries. And I keep on saying I'm going to go, but you keep on bringing up good topics I wanted to but talk about. But I'm getting the impression that everybody's gone everywhere and everybody's done freaking everything. There are only a few places on Earth. I mean, there's this place in the very north of Spitsbergen that is the northernmost, scientific post. And thousands of tourists go there every year, even though there's nobody there, there's nothing to do, only because it goes, I have been to the northernmost whatever. And it's absolutely garbage. I mean, and I mean, the only place that you can go to that still has a little bit of character is like Mount Athos in Greece, and to be that you have to be male and Orthodox, Greek Christian, to get in there, and very lucky. I mean, I have a better chance of getting into Harvard this year than I would to get a visitor's, permit to visit that place. But anyway, to get back to that, I kind of like the idea of somebody coming into a place in the modern day where we think that, oh, everybody's seen everything, but they peel back the layers and no, there's just so much more that perhaps we never knew, and just fascinating stuff that went underneath our noses for so many years. And just showing that there may be a little bit of wonder still left in this world that everybody seems to be so intent on making mundane, where they could go everywhere and do this stupid selfie, look at me, I'm here. And I don't know, I don't, the world is, unfortunately becoming very small and a repeatedly visited place. I don't know. It is what it is. I think I've said enough. And like I said, I got to feed my kitty cats. So take care, everybody. Thanks for viewing in or tuning in. I'll see you guys in 2 days when we're, I guess, finishing up the ivy and either finishing up the ivy or bringing in the power lines. Talk to you later. Take care.